Hello, I'm Claire Dow, Chair of the Friends of Pembrokeshire Coast National Park, and I'm about to start the 16th section of my Pembrokeshire Coast Path walk. Here I am again at Monkton, Priory, beautiful sunny day, and we're going to walk today to Angle. We're going to get hopefully to West Angle Beach. Quite a long walk today. We get some coastal scenery and we'll also get some industrial scenery as we pass the Valero petroleum site. So we will see how that contrasts. I can see standing. The first section today is starting on the road. We've got about 13 or 14 miles to do if we get to West Angle Beach. We get to Angle and then we go round the Angle head. We're continuing along the road for the time being, and in a while we're going to turn off down a footpath. So this is the way out of Pembroke. We're going past Burial Cemetery, which has the Commonwealth War graves in it, to my left. Blue sky, which I'm very relieved about. Yesterday we actually moved one of these dates for the first time. I hadn't moved any in the winter, but yesterday, Saturday, was extremely wet. It rained all day non-stop, but it's dried up today, which is great. We're now just crossing Coit's Mill Dam. You can see the water's let out over here. And it also says that the road is liable to flooding. According to the book, at a very high tide, this will totally be underwater. You can see that that's quite possible. We are all right today. The tide is out or low, but you can see a sign here saying, well, 6 feet basically. Whether it gets that high, I don't know. And there we are looking back towards Pembroke. It's just a muddy inlet at the moment, but it sounds as though the water can get quite high. It may be that this water here, I've got the camera on, is oh yes, there's an egret, or 2 egrets. I don't know again whether you can see them. They are fairly near. White birds just in the mud flats. One walking along there. Yeah, little egrets. And it looks as though this doesn't look like rainwater. This looks as though this was flooded at the last high tide. So good thing we're going through it now. The road is quite wet in places, and there are streams coming through off the road. We've now left the medieval world and we are joining the modern world. You can see pylons striding across the landscape. I think we go right up to these, possibly crossing them. And I think I said in my last section there are 2 rows of pylons. One was put up and not used, but it is likely to be used in the future. I guess if you don't like pylons, having 2 is not much worse than having 1. But there they are, striding across the fields. I remember as a child, I know it was 1976, there was a massive storm and we were in a coach coming back from Bedford. I was playing in a band and we watched as the hurricane winds knocked down the pylons. It was horrendous and well, amazing. We were on the road and you could see them go down and flash. It had never happened since, but it was an amazing night. And when we got back to my hometown, about 50% of the shop windows had been blown in. Such was the force of the wind and storm that night. quite an amazing night. And here are the pylons marching on in front of us. I think we followed them for quite a long while. You can see the double pylons. So apparently one set is not in use but will be soon, and the one set is currently in use. They're sort of strange. They are a bit like men marching around. I know there is an advert on here, I can't remember what channel it is, that they use the pylon and the pylon starts moving. We've also got wildlife as well. I'm not quite sure what that was flying in front of us. That was an interesting bird. Let's see, it's gone into the tree.
No.
We've now got a panoramic view, I say, of where we've walked previously, but we're going up now. We're going up and following the pylons. So yeah, a good view.
So
we can see lots of white birds here. Possibly these are all egrets.
Yeah.
You can see quite clearly the Pembroke power station, the 5 chimneys, and to its left the Valero site, which we'll be heading towards. So beautiful day. We've just turned off the field into a lovely woody glade. As you can see, the sun is streaming through, lots and lots of ferns, very beautiful. Bit muddy underfoot, hang on, a bit of a stream I've got to cross. And a bridge, and off we go uphill. So it's basically a little wooded glade along the stream, up a steep hill. And probably back into open fields again. Look, old farmhouse here, old barns. And onto a farm road, and we've got signs there saying straight on and back into open farmland again. So we've just left Brown Slate Farm. I'm looking across now at the storage tanks and walking down the road a bit. We can see the power station is getting nearer. The hedgerow is rather nice. That's some pink flowering nettles. Pretty, are they? Or are they nettles? No, they're not nettles. Not quite sure what they are. Probably ought to know. Possibly valerian. And headed towards the refinery. We're getting nearer Valero with interesting markers, which I think probably show oil pipelines. Never seen markers like this. Quite interesting. Pipelining gateway, that one says. There's the gateway. This is a lovely path with loads of butterflies everywhere. Everywhere you look. And hopefully you'll catch some of them. Butterflies galore. Lovely views to my right, and I'm now very near to the power station, coming right up to it, going straight ahead, and then we'll go around the Valero site. Just past some beautiful horses. Didn't stop as there were quite a number of them, about 10. They looked thoroughbreds to me. They were quite frisky, so I just carried on walking. Well, these are the first people I have met today. Would you like to tell me who you are and what you're doing today on the coast path?
Yes, hello, I'm Elke. I'm from Germany and we are doing the coastal pass. We're walking to Pembroke today.
You're walking to Pembroke today,
Yeah.
and that's where I left today, so I don't know whether I'm about halfway there. I hope
Yes,
so.
it's about halfway. That's what we thought.
That's good. That's good. Good to stop you halfway, then that's okay. So, and you're enjoying it.
Yes, very much.
Have you walked in the UK before?
Yes, we've been on the coastal path in Cornwall.
In Cornwall.
And we've been on the Cumbria Way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, have a good
that's
day.
The third time. Yeah.
Yeah. Have a good day. Thank you. Now I've met another group. I'm at the church, hoping to stop for a spot of lunch. Pembroke Church, I believe, is the name of it. But we'd like to say hello and what you're doing today here.
Hi, my name is Claudia. I'm here with my 3 friends. We've been walking the path for 1 week, and today's our last walking day.
Oh,
We're from Switzerland.
You're from Switzerland. Do you know, I've met a lot of people this year from Switzerland, so that's very interesting. Okay. I normally meet Dutch, Germans, but this year I've met a lot of people from Switzerland.
Someone marketed your idea.
So yeah, and I think that I've been told the Swiss have been enjoying the coast. Because obviously you don't have any coast.
You don't have any coast.
So yeah. So and you're walking it south to north.
Amrith to Pembroke.
Yeah, Amrith to Pembroke. So well, I hope you have a wonderful time. It's a gorgeous day today.
Thank you for supporting the path and looking after the.
That's okay.
So well. Yeah,
that's okay. A good day for butterflies. I was just going to show you another one, and it's flown away. But I'm sitting at the moment in Pembroke Church. There we are. You can see it behind me. A very remote area in that I can hear Valero industry and the chimneys behind me, but I can't see any population. But there obviously was a lot of population at some point because it's a fairly large graveyard. We're just heading now to Pembroke Flats. It says that we should be able to see marshmallow growing, and what was the other thing it said? Marshmallow and wild celery. And these flats in times gone by, the salt flats, were a place for cockles and oyster catching. As I said, I don't actually know where the village is now. It just looks as though the church remains and possibly the village has been subsumed by Valero. But in days gone by, I guess there was a fishing village here, and they made their money by selling oysters and cockles. And what is that? Pembroke Dock? No. We were walking the other side of Milford Haven just a few sections ago. We crossed the pipes that you can now see, and obviously we're now on the other side, going south eventually. So we're crossing a massive field here. To my left, you can't actually see it now, is the refinery. It's making quite a noise, and there's horrible fumes in this field because I'm breathing in petrol. I assume we'll survive till we get out of the field and past the refinery. So yeah, lovely views to my right, and there's a sailing ship going by. And there is the power station now behind us. You can now quite clearly see the jetty where 300,000 ton tankers used to deliver their crude oil. Opposite this is, I might have said the wrong place, it's not Pembroke Dock. Opposite this is Milford Haven, and you can see the marina opposite us now, the new marina. You can also see where we walked across the lock gate again a few sections ago. You can also see how clearly Milford is built on a grid as well, with the Victorian church tower in the distance. So Milford's set on the hill. Excellent views, and hopefully you can also see there's wind turbines to the right of those steady hills. We're now at Bulwell Bay. I guess that was once a working lime kiln. And continuing on, there is a ruined building of some description in front of me. I don't know what. And you can see the bay below. You can also see the jetties bringing the gas and oil into Valero. But I guess at one point this is a lovely quiet bay. Continuing on, we're in quite a lot of trees at the moment. It's quite nice, quite a hot day. Quite a substantial building. At some point here on the left you can see the fireplace is still there, and you can see the window lintels are still in. Continuing on, you can see lots of fern around us, brackens and fern, in a nice wooded area. I'm heading towards the sunshine again. Looking over now onto Popton Fort, another one of these Victorian fort defences. This one was built around 1860, and then you can see it guarding the waterway beyond. I'll do a panoramic view again, and then looking over to Milford. Looking over again onto Popton Fort. Quite well preserved. I think it's now an environmental centre. Turrets. You can see where the lookouts would have been. I'm saying certainly well built enough to stand the test of time. Just come across a sign that says it's a High Court injunction in force. Notice of High Court order dated 26th January 2024 to those persons unknown and named defendants as described in the re-amended claim form, the defendants from Valero Energy Limited, the claimant. And this is saying that the defendants do not have permission, or they're forbidden to enter or remain upon the claimant's site without the claimant's permission, or block the entrance, etc., etc. We're now walking around Angle Bay. The tide is out, so we may stick to walking along the edge of the bay before we then go inland into Angle. An amazing haven for bird and wildlife here. Back now to Valero, looking forward through Angle Bay and still walking along the coastline. Quite interesting coastline, lots of shells, seaweed, bladderwrack, sea lettuce we think. After our talk from Kari Moore, hopefully we'll be better acquainted with the types of seaweed. Seaweed here. That might be a different sort. I've forgotten the name of that one. I don't think we're going to collect any seaweed today, but in future I think I will collect some and attempt to dry it out in my greenhouse. I think that one was Dorse. A very interesting shoreline. Still walking around the bay, We get some quite nice sandy bits. It's going to be a glorious evening. Blue sky still, and sort of red sand in front of us that we're walking at the moment. Lovely bird life. I think that's a cormorant going by. Herring gull. It's going to be a good evening. The building over there is quite possibly a pub we might be heading to for a quick pint before we finish off the walk today. Here we are, going along the path to the hall. A lovely row of trees on my right, some older than others, some look like they've been replanted, with beautiful sea views to my right. And we've got a crenellated wall coming up as well. Not quite sure who lived in this property, but they obviously did have some money at some stage. And this is a rather grand wall. Beautiful sunny late afternoon. Coming into Angle, lots of boats in the bay. Lovely path along the edge with a substantial wall, and we're just coming to a gate now to go back along a lane and into Angle proper. We're then going to carry on round along the other side and round the point. Oh look, I can go under this gate. Private drive, no through road, but it allows you to walk through. The signposts are really good. They've all got a different bird on them. There's another one. It says Coast Path. Don't know what that bird is. Possibly a robin. Shop open. Little shop on wheels. Angle Castle Farm. I don't think we saw that. And this is the main entrance to the lodge. Not the lodge. Main entrance to the hall even. You can't quite see it, but I guess that's a substantial house through there.
Maybe there's a connection. Yeah.
So we can see the castle tower. I say it feels very old Angle. I've just been told that it was here since Viking time, but it's certainly still got the strip fields. And then you've got the Valero
right. Okay.
in the back.
You can't get out of the pub at high tide.
Oh, can you not? Okay.
Yeah, sometimes.
We're told we can't get out of the pub at high tide, but that's not a problem to us because we're actually going around the other way. We're actually walking around the point round to West Angle Bay, so we'll be all right. So we're not coming back, so that's fine. Here we go. So we're looking at a map of East Angle Bay, and there's a bit here about a rocket cart house. Before the RNLI lifeboat station was built at Angle, the curious lookout tower of the rocket cart house on the ridge above Angle, which you can see on the ridge hopefully, had a vital role commanding views of both open sea and the haven. When a ship was in difficulties, the cart was hauled to the nearest accessible point and a line fired out by rocket to sailors in peril. This is very interesting. There's a picture of it, of the house. This is very interesting because we passed a rocket house at the start of our walk at St Dogmeyer's out on the point by what is now the youth hostel there at Poppet Sands. So it's very possible that was the same reason why there was a rocket house there as well. So that may have answered our questions, because we did wonder about that at the start of the coast path. Very interesting. We're just going past the Angle lifeboat station. As it said on the the chart I was just reading out, the lifeboat station isn't still fairly near to where the rocket house was pre-RNLI and pre-lifeboat stations. And this lifeboat station, I think, was put here in the 1990s and then extended in 2002, 2008 as well, and it may even be further extended. We saw one of the lifeboats out in the bay, which you can see down there, and we're now carrying on uphill along the path from east angle to west angle. I think we can now see the lifeboat sitting in the water by the lifeboat station, which is just down below us. Just watching a boat coming in, moving along quite slowly really. Nice view all along here, all the way along the other side of the coast where we've actually walked over the last few sections. We're carrying on now to Angle Point, and then just down further to our left we will be at West Angle Beach. We're now directly looking onto Thorn Island. We're not sure of the date when this was built, but it certainly has been attempted to be used as a hotel where people can get away from things, get away from life on the island. Terraces, certainly. And I think this is the place that they may have had or want to have a helipad even. Just walking down now into West Angle Bay, out at sea. We can see what St Anne's Head, where we were quite a few sections ago, seen between and West Angle Bay in front of us. I think you can possibly also see the medieval graveyard. It looks as though there is a ruined church or something in the field on the right. So very nearly back, or finished our section today. Quite a long stretch. A nice seascape at the end of the day. We're now back at West Angle Bay. People are still out swimming. It's the end of a nice summer's day, and I can smell barbecue and smoke, which is quite a nice smell, but I'm not too hungry as I did have a crab sandwich earlier on. Okay, so that's the end of this section.